mean by that when you read the CARICOM 10-point plan, but that's one of the items. 9, technology transfer, where they talk about science sharing between these Western countries and our countries. And finally, debt cancellation, specifically support for the payment of domestic debt within our countries and cancellation of international debt. Now that's the CARICOM reparation, 10-point reparations program. I have some difficulty with this program. I don't think this program goes far enough. I think this program sells the reparation concept short. But this is what our heads of government have come up with, and their initiative has proven to be very useful because it has brought back attention to the issue of reparations. It has created a new impetus to the reparations cause. And so, for example, as a result of this CARICOM initiative, you have had in the United States of America, the establishment of a national African American Reparations Commission. And you have had some initiatives at the Black Congressional Caucus level in the United States, for example. So it has created some excitement, some new excitement, and some interest. But I am conscious that the reparations idea is a very sacred people's cause. And long before our governments had recognized it, our people, elements of our conscious people, whether in the Caribbean, in the other areas of the diaspora in North America and Europe, on the continent of Africa, were championing this cause. You know, we can think immediately of our Rastafari brothers and sisters who have been on this cause for decades, particularly the repatriation component of reparations. Our Pan-Africanists, we have been on this cause many decades. And so we are very conscious that this is a people's cause. And yes, while we welcome our governments taking an interest and taking initiatives, yet we must be conscious of the fact that it goes way beyond them. And so we are not required to simply accept. We are not required to simply accept the configuration that our governments give to the reparations concept, right? We thank them for what they have done, but we have to engage with them. But if it falls short, we have a responsibility to tell them, look, it falls short. You're not going far enough. You have not properly conceptualized it. So reparations is something that is still very much in progress. I have given some thought to what a reparations campaign should look like. What are the principles around which it should be established? And I have been trying to work towards a reparations manifesto. It's still a work in progress, but I want to share some ideas with you. This is what I say. The campaign to secure reparations for the multiplicity of genocides and crimes that have been committed against the sons and daughters of Africa during the centuries of slavery and colonization consists of, first of all, an outwardly directed process in which we level demands at the liable European and North American governments and institutions for a comprehensive package of compensatory money payments, inclusive of funds to finance a repatriation program, demands for a package of developmental projects, transfers of resources, and national and international institutional reforms, as well as an inwardly directed process that we African or African descended people must engage in ourselves to repair those aspects of the damage that pertain most directly to our minds and psyches. And then I go on to outline some 12 principles, some 12 fundamental principles of reparations, of the concept of reparations, or of the reparations movement. And I'll just try to go through them quickly with you. For me, the first principle is no impunity. For me, the campaign for reparations sends a message to all and sundry that there will be no impunity for anyone, any government, any institution, any nation that commits crimes against humanity. And just as Marcus Garvey said, if it takes 200 years, you must know and expect that justice will be demanded of you, even if it is your successors and beneficiaries who are ultimately required to make recompense. So no, that's a very important aspect of reparations. By engaging in this campaign, we are sending a message that there's no impunity. No matter how long it takes, you commit the crime, you're going to be called to account. Secondly, it is a validation of our humanity, because if the most horrific crimes could be inflicted on our ancestors, the most horrific crimes imaginable, and we, their descendants, do not speak up and demand some element of justice and accountability for what was done to our ancestors, it means that we are telling the world and ourselves that our ancestors were really some subhuman beings, not deserving of justice and respect, not sacred, that they were not sacred beings imbued with inalienable rights to human dignity. And so by engaging in a reparations campaign, we are validating our own humanity, and we are sending that message to the world. And it's so important that we send that message to the world, because our sister spoke about what's happening in the Dominican Republic. At the heart of what is happening in the Dominican Republic is a contempt for black humanity. It's a virulent anti-black, anti-Haitian sentiment. And we, in this 17th year of the 21st century, we must say, look, we have had enough of that. As far as we are concerned, from here onwards, zero tolerance for any manifestation of anti-black racism or discrimination. That must be our attitude. Whoever it comes from, wherever it raises its head, we have had enough of that. We have had enough of these centuries of denying our humanity, of chattelizing us, of dehumanizing us, of trying to reduce us to some kind of subordinate being. We're not standing for it anymore. And that's why that issue in the Dominican Republic is very, very important. The Dominican Republic has been infected with that virus of anti-black, anti-Haitian racism. And it came out in the most horrific manner in October, 80 years ago, almost exactly 80 years ago, in October 1937. There was a genocide, a massacre of 30,000 Haitians in the Dominican Republic. It's something that tends to be swept under the carpet. You ask the Caribbean people, well, what is the greatest outrage that occurred in the Caribbean in the 20th century? You know, the Bajans might tell you, well, the riots of 1937, or the Trinidadians might tell you, well, the fellows who got shot in 1970 in the Black Power uprising. None of them compare with what was perpetrated in the Dominican Republic against the Haitian people. It was like what happened in Rwanda in the 1990s. A similar thing happened right in the Caribbean, where some people were killed by their neighbors. They went on this racist, genocidal campaign against these people. So you identified as a Haitian, either by how you speak, your accent, or how you look. And people were massacred. Just like in Rwanda, people were chopped to death. People, 30,000, right? So that happened 80 years ago, and that virus of anti-black racism is still